All right, let me know if you can hear me in the chat room. I'm always paranoid about the audio. Always got to check that, make sure that's working before I start this. I once did a live stream where I was talking for like a good 20 minutes before I realized that no one could hear me. Okay, cool. All right, while we're waiting for everybody to show up, I'll talk to you guys for a few minutes. Apartment update, because I'm sure you're probably wondering about this. The move went fine. I'm in my new place now, so I finally put that shitty apartment, the place where I've been living in since November, that's finally in my rear view. The lease is signed, so it's all official now. I'm in my new place, and for some reason, I had it in my head that I was going to move everything and do everything myself. And that turned out to be a kind of a bad idea. I got it all done. Took me 2 days, 9 trips back and forth over 2 days. I'm tired. And I kind of messed up my knee a little bit, so I've had to rest that. But I'm okay. It's a little bit of an adjustment, but there's no ants in the bathroom and there's no dust in the air, and I call that an improvement. It's a smaller place, so I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to fit everything. I'm going to have to throw a few things out, but I like it. It's good. Plus, the location is much more convenient, so I won't have to drive like half an hour to get to the supermarket or to the highway entrance ramp. So it's I'll save on gas as well. So that's nice. Don't have a mattress yet though, because my other one was ancient. It's time to junk that one. So right now I'm sleeping on the floor, which I'm told is better for my back anyway. So good, I guess. Anywho, let's go for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4. Well, the good news. Ghost is alive. Wasn't sure if he made it after last week, but Ghost is alive, and Rhaegal was alive briefly. Now he's not, which kind of sucks. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But that really came out of nowhere, didn't it? I say, Rhaegal's death was kind of unceremonious. I'll just say that. Anywho, but anyway, let me backtrack for a second here because I'm getting ahead of myself. Because before I get into this one, I just want to clarify a few things about my thoughts on the Battle of Winterfell from last week. All right. Production-wise, I thought it was fantastic. The visuals were spectacular. Now, you may not have liked what they were going for. I couldn't see anything, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's down to personal preference. I love what they did with it. Structurally, I thought it was brilliant in terms of pacing, building suspense, rising and falling action, when to pay things off, when to let the audience breathe, all that stuff. Now, the problem with the episode was with the storytelling. And I talked about this last week, and the more I think about it, the more Arya being the one to kill the Night King just does not make sense narratively. Now, you build this monster up over many seasons as Jon's ultimate nemesis, and then it's Arya who finishes him off. Yeah, it just felt very random, and not in a wow, that's such a great twist kind of way. It was unearned. Like, that's not the confrontation that they'd been building to this whole time. And I'm not against Arya being the one to deliver the final blow in principle, but the execution of it was awkward. Like, the Night King and Jon had been so tied together that Jon kind of needed to be there in those final moments for this to feel appropriate. Like, suppose if I'm not saying he had to be the one to kill the Night King, but like, suppose if Jon had shown up and had like a sword fight with him or something, or spent a little while battling him in a way that at least makes a difference or keeps Bran alive for a few more minutes. Like long enough to allow to give Arya the chance to get into position, and then Arya leaps in and stabs him. I think that would have been fine. But Jon wasn't even there. He's in the courtyard fighting Viserion, and the Night King is in the Godswood about to kill Bran, and then Arya just flies in from out of nowhere and stabs him. And the execution of that was just so weird, and it didn't seem to take into account what they've been building up to almost since the first season. And Jon not at least being somehow involved with the Night King's death just did not feel right from a storytelling perspective. Unless that was somehow not the end of the White Walkers. And with the Night King gone, I don't see how it couldn't be unless the writers are setting us up for something. More on that in a minute. Also, I said that the decision to have the good guys defeat the Army of the Dead with half a season to go still was going to be a success or a failure based on how they follow it up, based on what happens next. So if Cersei doesn't go apocalyptically evil and present a threat the likes of which they've never seen before, it's going to feel like the writers blew their load 3 episodes early. So did they pull it off? I'm not sure yet. But I don't know if they succeeded, but I don't know if they failed yet either. Which brings us to episode 4. This was another one of those cool down episodes. And after the massive battle last week, that's just fine with me. The first half hour was literally just eat, drink, fucking be merry. Everyone's partying. They have a funeral, but now it's time to celebrate. They're having a feast. They're enjoying themselves for a change. Everyone's partying, trying to have a good time. But there's also a lot of character development going on there too. In that feast scene, there's a lot of character right beneath the surface. Like Gendry getting legitimized by Dany, and and she's not fooling anybody. I mean, she's trying to make the Northmen like her. And Gendry, he made all those dragonglass weapons, so he's going to be popular with them now. So she says, "Yeah, I'll do something nice for him in front of everybody. That'll make him. That'll get them on my side." And she gets some applause for it, I guess. But ultimately they're siding with Jon because he's one of them, and he did a lot of stuff. Not saying she didn't do stuff too, but they still view her as an outsider, and she's uncomfortable with it. And it's kept pretty subtle, but I liked what they did here. And then they're playing. I guess they're Tyrion and Jaime and Brienne are playing. Did you ever, or have you ever, or whatever the hell that game is. And Jaime, Brienne's a virgin, of course. I don't know why that would come as a shock to anybody. I don't think she's ever really. It's never really come up, but I don't think she's made a secret of it. And so Jaime and Jaime goes to her, and they kind of they do what they do. I mean, I felt bad for Tormund. God damn it, I was really rooting for him. But yeah, and I mean, Jaime and Brienne, I don't ship it, but I guess it makes sense. But say your goodbyes to Brienne, because I don't see any way in hell that she survives till the end of the season. I think Jaime's got better plot armor than her. I could be wrong, but I don't know. In the short term, he's going to be in more danger, but I don't see her surviving either way. Still, I guess it's a nice moment. And also you get Gendry getting legitimized, becomes the Lord of the Storm's End, and he immediately goes to Arya, who just breaks all the shippers' hearts and just shoots him down because that's not me. And again, it's good character, and she's a little conflicted about it, but it's not her. She's not a lady, and again, she leaves with the Hound, and I'm still not sure if he's on her list. I'm still not sure if he's made it off her list yet. And but the real through line here, the really interesting stuff, is that the secret of Jon's parentage is starting to get out. starting to spread. One person swears that they'll never tell a soul about it, but then does, and then another, and then another, and a bunch of people know now, and the reactions are all really interesting. With the exception of Tyrion, and I'm not saying that he's not conflicted about it, but most of them seem to think that Jon would be the better choice to rule the Seven Kingdoms. And as it stands now, I don't really disagree with that. He doesn't want the Iron Throne, but the fact that he doesn't covet power probably means that might mean that he would make a good king, because the fact that if he doesn't crave power, it means that he has a healthy respect for it. Also, he's someone that the Northmen accept. The Northmen already made him their king, so they chose him to lead them. So I mean, he would have the support of the Northmen. But Dany is still an outsider to them, to her credit, Dany continues to take this remarkably well. She hasn't gotten violent about it. I mean, she does feel threatened, but she's not getting territorial, at least not yet, because she does really love Jon, and she wants to find a way to make this work, provided no one finds out who his real parents are. And slowly but surely that's happening behind her back. Inevitably, that secret is going to come out. And I still maintain that there's a really easy way to resolve this where everyone kind of gets what they want, but the show being what it is, it's going to get complicated, and it's ultimately not going to be simple. I guess that's the irony of this situation, where it could all be so easily resolved, but events are, forces are conspiring to just not let it happen. And that's where that's the end of where I was scripting this out. I really should have set these up to start like a half hour or an hour after the episode ends, because 15 minutes is just not enough. It's just not long enough to get my thoughts in order here. And now I've just got some notes that I jotted down here very quickly. I was watching this. Also, character-wise, I sympathize with the position that Jon is in. Sansa wants to let their armies rest. Dany wants to go attack Cersei right now. Sansa probably has the right idea in that situation. Jon is following Dany, and he has loyalty to her because they wouldn't have survived the Army of the Dead without her help. Even Arya acknowledges that. But he might be, so he's following her, but is he following her blindly? We don't really know. So it's a very, very complicated situation. And again, it's all very messy, but it's good character stuff. Also good character stuff. When Bronn shows up, I love that he didn't immediately try to kill Jaime and Tyrion. He just sits down with him and says, "Hey, here's what Cersei promised me to kill you two fuckers. What are you going to do for me so that I don't kill you two fuckers? What can you give me that's better than Riverrun? Highgarden? Okay, I'll take Highgarden, but you better pay up when it's time, or else, it's going to be a problem." You can always count on Bronn to be Bronn. I hope that guy never fucking changes. And I love that he just left after that. Like, we don't see him again. He doesn't do anything else. He just comes in and says, "What are you going to do for me, or I'll kill you?" He says, "Highgarden, okay, we'll see." And then he just fucks off somewhere. Bronn's great. And Tormund, poor Tormund. This is interesting. So Tormund takes the Free Folk and also goes back to Castle Black. I don't see it being that easy. I don't see that being a case of him just taking the Free Folk back to Castle Black and then just being there peacefully until, and that just being the last time we see him. I don't see that happening. There's going to be some kind of complication. So, is it possible that the threat of the White Walkers is somehow not over? As I think Benioff and Weiss, the showrunners, they were on a talk show. I don't know which one it was. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. I didn't see it, but I read about it in an article where they were asked, "Are the White Walkers really dead? Are they really gone?" And they were a little evasive. They didn't really answer the question. So I'm thinking, is there something of the White Walkers still remaining? Are they still somehow a threat? And if so, is that going to come up when the Free Folk return to Castle Black? Is that going to come up again? Because I mean, we got like 2 episodes left. I don't know if there's time for it, but suppose the White Walkers aren't completely gone. I mean, they killed the Night King, but was the Night King the one who? Was that the last of them? I mean, who made the Night? Yeah, the Night King made like the army of the dead, but who made the Night King? We know the children of the forest created the White Walkers, but in that flashback that Bran saw, we saw them creating the first White Walker. But was that the Night King, or was that something else? Maybe there was another White Walker who created the Night King, and then the Night King made everybody else. So maybe there's another White. Maybe there's another White out there. We don't know. But if Tormund and the Free Folk just go back to Castle Black, and that's the last we see of them, I think that's a missed opportunity. And I don't trust this show to not throw another twist at us, because I don't know. It just seems odd to me if that's the last time we see them, and like nothing. No, there's no story. There's no more story there. I mean, I think ending Tormund's story there, I think it would make sense, but that's not really the way this show operates. So we'll see. But I don't know. I'm suddenly kind of suspicious, given the way that the Night King went down. Because I mean, the way they built that up, it's like, well, Jon's tied to this. He's got to be involved somehow, and then he wasn't. So maybe the threat could come back, and Jon would do something then. Not really sure yet. So now, for now, for all intents and purposes, Cersei is the final big bad. And the big question is, will she go apocalyptically evil enough to equal the threat of the White Walkers? I don't know if that's possible yet, but I think she's off to a good start. We know that she is devious, she's cunning, and she's powerful. They took out Rhaegal just like that with those fucking ballistas, and they made mincemeat of several of the good guys' ships. Got Missandei, and you knew Missandei had no chance. I mean, when Missandei and Grey Worm were like happy in their relationship together, you knew it. You knew at least one of them was toast. I kind of thought Grey Worm was going to buy it first, but I knew they were done for. And here's where we see just how, again, good character stuff, because Cersei's one truly redeeming quality has always been that she loves her kids more than anything. More than Jaime, more than her power base. If there's one genuine thing about her, is that she genuinely, truly loves her children. And now she's making a choice that is not in the best interest of her child. He's making a choice that Tyrion says, look, don't do this. I mean, you can still ensure your baby's safety. If you go through with what you're doing, your baby is probably going to end up fucking dead. And we can see that she's conflicted about this, but she's too far gone at this point. And poor Missandei, R.I.P. But that the one redeeming quality about Cersei, she's done away with it. Like Jaime said, she is a hateful, hateful bitch. And speaking of Jaime, he's going back to confront Cersei. I don't think he's. I mean, this needed to happen. He needed to confront her one more time, and in order to finish his character arc, I think Jaime's got to be the one to kill Cersei. Now, she's always had this hold over him that he couldn't quite escape, and when she jumps, he says how high. When she calls, he comes running, and it's like she's this toxic web that he couldn't escape from. And in order for his arc to conclude, he's got to break himself free of that web. Now, whether that is just telling her off and leaving, or killing her, or something, I don't know. But he's got to confront her one more time, and that was probably the last time him and Brienne are going to see each other before one of them ends up dead. I still think it's Brienne. I guess I could be wrong, but I don't. Brienne's probably going to be dead next time he sees her, which kind of sucks for her. But yeah, I am genuinely looking forward to Jaime and Cersei's confrontation. I think he's got to be the one to do her in. It makes sense. All right, and that's where it ends. That's where it ends. Things are getting very charged, and I guess we got another huge ass battle next week, and after that, I guess if I had to guess, I would say the threat of Cersei is probably addressed and done with next week. And then the final episode is going to be resolving the issue of who sits on the Iron Throne, Jon or Dany, or again, just why not just get them married up? This doesn't have to be an issue. Everyone is making it an issue, but it doesn't have to be. Just it seems like if you get them married up, all this goes away. They can just rule the Seven Kingdoms together. Why does there only have to be one ruler? Why can't they just do it together? It just. It just seems like everyone's making this so much more complicated than it needs to be. I'm not sure why, but yeah, that's another really good episode here. It's one more about story and character than action. I think that was exactly what we needed after last week. The Deadpool has gotten a little bigger, not as big as I was expecting, but now we know Rhaegal is confirmed dead, and poor Missandei. Sunday too. But again, guys, you know what? Keep your eye on Tormund and Ghost and the Free Folk, because I think it's going to be really awkward if we don't see them again. If they just go back to Castle Black and nothing happens to them, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, but I think they're going back there for a reason. I think maybe they'll encounter like one final White Walker threat. Maybe there's something of the White Walkers that still exists somewhere. I don't know. I don't know how they could fit that in with like 2 episodes left, but I don't know. I think there's something coming there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. But again, another really good episode here. And my thoughts are a little scattered, because again, 15 minutes is just not enough time to really dive into all the stuff that's going on here. I should have given myself more time, but whatever. Dany's pissed, losing allies, her power. She lost Rhaegal. Everything she worked for is collapsing. Yeah, I still think she's taken it very well, all things considered. I mean, she hasn't been pushed to her breaking point yet, but I think she's getting there. She lost another dragon. She lost Jorah. She lost Missandei. I would not be surprised at all if she loses Grey Worm next week. So don't be shocked if she is pushed to a place where the one thing she has to cling to is the Iron Throne, and then the guy that she's in love with has a better claim to it, that could be her breaking point. Now, the question is, what does she do after that? Does she become a tyrant like the Mad King, or does she prove that she's not her father? Sam asked, look, you put your crown down for the good of the people. Would she do the same thing? I think that question's going to get answered. We just don't know how it's going to answer. I think that will probably be what the final episode is about, is answering that question, is what kind of a queen, what kind of a ruler is Daenerys really? Let's see. She's kind of a hypocrite. She went on this long journey because of her claim to the throne. Now that someone has a more legitimate claim, nah, she's the queen, and never tell anyone who you are, John. Well, I'm not saying I disagree, but she's been on this kick for years. She's had it in her head that she was the rightful ruler of the Seven Kingdoms for a long time, and this info that someone else, the guy she's in love with no less, has the more legitimate claim, this just got dropped in her lap. It's going to take a while to absorb this information. Now, I still think she's taken it very well under the circumstances, because she could have made this a big thing, and she hasn't yet. Now she's asking him, look, don't tell anyone about this. Okay, I get that. And John doesn't want the Iron Throne anyway. Is it a little hypocritical of her? Maybe. But all things considered, I think I still think she could be taking this a lot worse. And I think she probably will. She'll start to in the next couple episodes, if the Iron Throne becomes the one thing she has left to hold on to. She hasn't been pushed to her breaking point yet, is what I'm saying. So what kind of person is she going to be once she reaches that point? Let's see. She didn't get no recognition at all. I think she did. Maybe not from the Northmen so much, but Jon recognizes her contributions, and Arya acknowledges that they wouldn't have survived without her help. I think the Northmen could have kind of acknowledged her a little bit more, but again, she's still an outsider to them. And again, it kind of feeds into her paranoia that these people may not follow her the way she wants them to. And I still don't know why that has to be a thing if her and Jon want to be together anyway. That new place feeling, you need an orgy to break it in. Yeah. Well, I kind of think I need a bed first, because right now I'm on a sleeping bag on the floor. And it's a, I don't know if I have enough room for an orgy. I actually have to get rid of a bunch of stuff here, because it's a studio, so it's pretty small, and it's kind of cramped because I've got too much stuff in here. First, in the old place, I had too much space. Now I don't have enough, and I've got a couple of chairs here that my brother wants, but he doesn't really have space to come get them. He's moving into a new place on the 20th, and he says that once he's situated in there, he can come get these chairs out of and get them out of here so I can have a little more space to work with. But we'll see. He said he wanted those chairs a year and a half ago, and he still hasn't taken them. But if and when he does take them, I should have enough space to move around. But yeah, maybe, and hopefully in the not too distant future, I can get a mattress in here. Then we can think about the orgy after that. Man, I miss the Army of the Dead. Me too. It's still a big question mark as to whether or not offing the Army of the Dead this early was the right choice. But again, I don't necessarily know if they're completely gone yet. To be continued on that one. This season is ruining the show for me, and it sucks. Okay. All right. I'm not saying they haven't made some controversial decisions. Look, the Army of the Dead being dealt with in episode 3. I mean, they had to know not everyone was going to be on board with that. I'm still not sure how I feel about it. I'm right now. I'm leaning towards it being the wrong decision creatively. I still don't know. So I get it. I understand. But like I said, the way I feel about a lot of the stuff they're doing, it's going to depend on what they do next. Because there is every possibility that they could ruin it still. It's kind of like how I felt with the Pirates of the Caribbean back in the day. I loved the first movie. Then the second one came out. The second one came out, and I was like, well, I'm not sure how I feel about it because it ends in like a lot of cliffhangers here, and how I feel is going to depend on how the next one goes. And then the third one was kind of a mess, and it retroactively ruined part 2 for me. And so I have the first. I own the first Pirates movie, and I don't really. I don't own the others. Now the first one is the best. After that, they don't work. They don't work out so well anymore. So it could end up being a situation like that. Let's see again. What could Jon have done to him? A sword fight between them would be like a sword fight between Han Solo and Darth Vader. Yeah, well, I'm not suggesting Jon would have lasted very long against the Night King. I'm not suggesting he would beat the Night King, but I'm saying maybe Jon could delay the Night King for a few moments, just long enough for like Arya to get into position. Like just long enough to change something about the situation so that his presence, like him being there, was the difference maker. Like something he did changed the outcome. Because as it is, he wasn't even there. So he was kind of inconsequential to the ending up to the Night King's end. That's the issue that I have. I'm sure had he confronted the Night King, he would have gotten his ass whooped. But could he have done something in those few seconds that changed the paradigm, like changed the situation just long enough to give Arya that opening? It's a small difference, but I think that would have made the difference. Okay, Justin thinks the episode was underwhelming. All right, I agree to disagree. I think this was the kind of episode I needed after like the nonstop battle sequence. Probably one of the longest battle sequences ever filmed for a TV show, if not the longest, last week. I think they've got this season the wrong way around. The Long Night should have been the epitaph to the War for the Throne. Yeah, I agree. I still think that. I'm open to having my mind changed. They could change my mind, but I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see what they do. Is Cersei the final big bad? Are the White Walkers really gone? Is the threat of the White Walkers still out there somewhere? Could they potentially come back? Is that going to come back somehow? We don't know yet. I mean, there's still ways that this could work out, and feel like everything lines up creatively. But right now, I'm kind of with you on this. That I think the Night King should have been the final boss, and I keep thinking that it would have made so much more sense for like the Night King's generals to handle the Battle of Winterfell while he flew to King's Landing on Viserion and turned the the Golden Company and the Lannister armies into whites, and then just have them march forth and have some kind of alliance of the Night King and Cersei, and have like their two biggest enemies sort of combine forces. I just feel like they missed like a golden opportunity to kind of bring those two storylines together, and it would have made so much more sense that way. It would have been so much more appropriate that way. Instead, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see what happens. I'm just going to wait and see what happens, because I don't know what they're going to do yet. But I'm undecided. But the way I feel right now, I am leaning towards agreeing with you. We waited all this time to see Ghost, only for Jon to give him away. Justice for Ghost. Yeah. The direwolves really got the short end of the stick on this show. I guess the showrunners took the dragon side, unfortunately. Kind of sucks, because I love dogs, but what can you do? At least Ghost is still alive. Even if Cersei wins, the world will keep on spinning. Yeah. I hope to see Cersei hanging by her own guts. I agree that Jon would be a slightly better ruler, but how is Daenerys worse? To be fair, it's a medieval society and a certain amount of cruelty is required. Well, Varys kind of spelled it out. Jon has the respect of the Northmen. He is technically the rightful heir to the throne. He's half Stark, half Targaryen. So if there's one person who could bring everyone together, it would be Jon. Also, he has a cock. Like it or not, that's important in this society. I'm not saying that isn't fucked up, but that's the way the society operates. Dany did sort of threaten Jon not to tell anyone at the end of that conversation. Seems pretty territorial to me. Well, yeah. I mean, she's slowly getting there, but she didn't get territorial like immediately to the point of we'll bend the knee or I'll have your head or whatever. She's still handling it pretty well for Dany, because we've seen what happens when she gets pissed off. And she hasn't gone there yet. I think she's kind of fighting against her own impulses here. She wants the Iron Throne, but she wants this thing with Jon to work out. And there's kind of a war. There's kind of a battle raging within her right now over these two. She's trying to reconcile these two different things, and she's trying. I'm not saying she isn't getting a little. I'm not saying she isn't getting her back up about it, but she's trying. Bronn is still the man. Hell yeah. Bronn's awesome. It's not even about if she's worse. Her big complaint has always been that her family had the throne stolen. Now her nephew has the better, more rightful claim, and she's mad. What? Yeah, I would like to see somebody bring that up. Because there is a certain amount of pride here. Dany is letting her pride get in the way of rationality, and that's fine. She's not perfect. I don't expect characters to be perfect. They're gonna make mistakes. So I would like somebody to call her on that at some point. I don't even care who it is. Let's see. Was that supposed to be the Night King in the flashback? That's what I'm wondering about. Like, what if it I always assumed it was, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe the Night King was not the first White Walker. Maybe there was another White Walker who made the Night King. So there could be another white out there. We don't know. So, like, is that why Tormund is taking the free folk to Castle Black? Are they going to find another white out there? Who knows? I can't help but think like they're going back there for a reason. So we shall see on that one. Basically, Jon, Cersei, and Dany are the three players left for the throne, and I can't help but think that none of them will win. Jon is too obvious, and people don't want Dany or Cersei. What do you think? Huh. I don't really know what to think. I think we could probably rule out Cersei at least. It's I guess it's got to come down to Jon and or Dany. Uh, uh, they're setting up some kind of conflict between them, and I guess it's going to come down to whether they can resolve that or not. And I kind of wonder if nobody will end up on the Iron Throne. Will they all just end up destroying each other? Would the show end that dark? I mean, who knows? I mean, we probably can't expect a happy ending where Jon and Dany just get hitched and rule the Seven Kingdoms together. I mean, I don't think Game of Thrones would end on a happy note like that. I'm still expecting a bittersweet ending. Maybe not one that's super dark, but not completely happy either. And I wish I could give you a straight answer, but I don't really know yet. I mean, sure, Jon might be too obvious, but wouldn't Dany be too obvious also? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, Just Dane is not happy with the way this season is going. I am undecided about it. There's still a chance that they could very much ruin this. I think the Night King somehow lives on through Bran. I'm assuming he still has his mark, and the comment about him living in the past could be a hint. Or I'm overthinking it, haha. Maybe not. I mean, Bran's got to do something. Because ever since he got back there, I mean, all right, he passed on the information about Jon's lineage and the truth about his parents. But ever since then, Bran has had nothing to do. I mean, he warged into a couple birds during the Battle of Winterfell, but what good did that do, really? And Bran's got to play some kind of role here because I'm tired of him not doing a damn thing, just sitting there like a lump. He's got to play some kind of role here. So maybe if he does have the White Walker's mark on him, maybe I don't know. Maybe that still means something. Be cool if it did, because I would like Bran to have some kind of a fucking role here. Did anyone figure out how Arya fits the Azor Ahai or a prince that was promised prophecy, or have the show writers just decided to completely ignore it? Man, that really hasn't been mentioned in a while. Okay, it's been a while since I've tried to read the books, and I only read the first three. I mean, so refresh my memory about the Azor Ahai prophecy. So somebody refresh me in the comments, because I kind of forget how that one works. Let's see, and a whole bunch of new comments just got posted. They all get posted at the same time, so I always lose my place. I knew the writers did the right thing by ending the White Walkers. Cersei, as well as the drama behind the Iron Throne, is enough to make the story interesting, unless they screw up the final battle. Yeah, unless. I think there may be a way for them to make this work. There's also a way for them to completely shit the bed. And I don't know which way it's going to go yet. Craster's babies. Just saying. Well, no, I think Craster's babies would have died when the Night King did. Because remember, the Night King turned them. So, and all the dead that the Night King created, they died when he did. So Craster's babies would be dead. So if the White Walkers are still a threat, it would mean that there's somebody behind somebody who made the Night King. That's what we're looking for. Because all the dead that the Night King made, they're gone now. So if there's any of them left, it would be it would be the someone who made the Night King, somebody like who came before he did. Let's see. Hey, Thorias, how you feeling today? I'm all right. My back doesn't hurt as much since I'm not sleeping on that ancient mattress anymore, and my throat feels better now that I'm out of that dust-filled apartment. So my voice is not constantly phlegmy, and because I'm actually allergic to dust mites and dust in general, and which just that building was full of it. So I could never breathe that well in that place. So but this new place is nice and clean, so I can breathe much better. My voice feels a lot better. My throat feels better. So so things are looking up. I just need to get a new mattress so I can get off the floor. But for the short term, it's all right. Still not sleeping that much, but it is an improvement. The twist is that the Night King is going to respawn, but this time he'll be kind of a good guy. He and Jon are going to fight back and forth with all sorts of comedic banter between them, like a buddy cop movie. That would be quite a twist, wouldn't it? Sunday and Jorah are dead. Varys and potentially Tyrion are turning against her. Grey Worm is her only true friend and ally left. Well, I don't know about Tyrion. He seems, I think he still seems loyal to Dany. I think, I'm not saying that he doesn't have doubts, but I think he's still on her side for now. But yeah, I am concerned about what Varys is going to do. Because if Tyrion is going to try to is Tyrion going to try to stop Varys, or is he going to warn Dany about Varys? But how would he do that? In order to warn her, he would have to tell her, why Varys is plotting something, and that would mean that she would find out that Jon told people, and this whole situation could come crashing down. Yeah, so they're setting up a lot of dominoes here. So do you think the Unsullied we saw are the only Unsullied left? Well, that would be my guess. We know Arya is going to try to kill Cersei. The question is, will the writing be that lazy? Man, I hope not. I mean, I get what they were trying to do with the Night King, but she cannot be the one to kill Cersei. That has to be Jaime. It has to be Jaime who does that. It has to be. His whole character arc kind of hinges on this. Like, he's always been so tied to Cersei. I mean, that's his defining moment when he finally frees himself from her toxic web. Like, he has to be the one to kill her. Like, story-wise, it's the only thing that makes sense, but Jaime is the one to do that. It has to be Jaime who does that. And yes, that would be the predictable thing. It's also the only thing that makes sense. You don't have to do swerves just for the sake of surprising people. And I feel like that's what they tried to do with Arya killing the Night King. Well, narratively, Jaime being the one to take Cersei down, that's the only thing that makes sense in this situation. Am I the only one who thinks they killed Rhaegal as either shock value or catch-up? No, I think they absolutely killed Rhaegal for shock value. And not saying it was definitely shocking, but I don't feel good about it. Wouldn't crowding people into the keep only make it easier for Arya to sneak in instead and kill Cersei? Probably. I don't understand why and when they were at the War Council at Winterfell, they didn't just decide to send Arya to kill Cersei. I mean, the plot-wise, it would be stupid, but it's logically the best move. Okay, here's my question. Do they actually know what Arya can do? Like they know that she's a great fighter, but do they know that she can like change her face? Do they know like the full extent of her skills as an assassin? Because I don't think she's actually told anyone about that. I think by now they all know that she can handle herself, but I don't think they know that she has like the faceless man powers now. I think they all just know that they know and accept that she's become like this like awesome kick-ass warrior. But I don't think they know just how like the full extent of her skills now. Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think she's told anyone about that. Also, if I'm Jon Snow, I'm gonna find it really difficult, or if I'm Sansa, I'm gonna find it really difficult to tell my little sister to go and do something like that. I mean, just because that's they don't have a lot of family left. Let's see, if Jon faced the Night King, he would have been more on guard, and Arya wouldn't have had that opening. Night King knew Arya was coming, but he did not see her as a threat, which is what got him killed. That's one way of looking at it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with it, but that's one way of looking at it, I guess. Lannisters supposedly have green eyes. Do they? Do they in the show? Oh, yeah, because I remember, what Melisandre said. Arya, brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. That's yeah. Okay, I see where you're going with this. I don't know if they have green eyes in the show though. In fact, I'm pretty sure they don't. But I see where you're going. After all she went through, it would be dumb to simply step down. Yeah. What armies are left that can fight Cersei? Well, they have the Unsullied and the Dothraki. What are left of them? They have the Northmen. What are left of them? And they have Drogon. I think during the War Council meeting, they said they're kind of on equal footing. Oh yeah, and they have Yara in her ships. So they said during that scene, that War Council scene, like their armies are on equal footing. So they're kind of a 50-50 chance now, I guess. Varys is going to try to kill Dany at some point. Man, he might. Fucking Varys, man. I guess you could just never trust that guy. Fizzle, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. Hold on. I'll get to it. 1 second. Has Dany figured out that Jon was killed and came back from the dead? Tormund was talking about it right in front of Dany, and she didn't seem phased. I think she knows by now. I remember last season when after they were on that mission beyond the wall to get one of the White Walker soldiers to capture one of them, and after John made it back and he was like half frozen to death, and they were trying to warm him up, and they took his shirt off. It was all encrusted with ice, and she saw the scar on his chest. So I think she knows. I think she kind of knows what happened. She might not know the specifics, but I think she's aware of it. Let's see. With Bran being able to see exactly where Cersei will be and when she'll be the most vulnerable, he could simply give Arya the intel she needs to simply wait for an unfortunate accident. Uh, I think, well, Bran sees the past. I don't know if he sees the present. Um, I suppose he could warg into something and kind of spy on Cersei that way. But again, they didn't order Arya to do anything yet. I guess they could, but again, they don't. I don't think they know the full extent of Arya's skills. They don't know that she can like change her face. So really, this is all down to Arya's lack of communication skills. Yeah. Dany burning Jon alive and sitting on the Iron Throne with murderous fire in her eyes and becoming the thing she despised most would be an interesting ending, though it won't happen. You sure? I wouldn't put it past him. If I'm not mistaken, the prince that was promised was supposed to destroy the great darkness with a blade of fire made in the blood of a lion and the prince's. Huh. The prince that was promised was supposed to destroy the great darkness with a blade of fire made in the blood of a lion and the prince's love. Blade of fire. Well, it was Valyrian steel. Not sure that. I don't know if that counts. The blood of a lion. Well, the lion could symbolize the Lannisters, which is where the blade came from. Sort of. I don't know. I mean, no, no. I mean, it was Littlefingers. I guess it sort of passed through Tyrion's hands at one point. I don't know. That's a stretch, man. Okay. Fizzle, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. Do you think Rhaegal will come back? I don't know, man. I mean, Rhaegal looked pretty dead to me. He got really torn up by those ballistas, and the Night King ain't around to resurrect him. So I think I don't know. I think Rhaegal's probably pretty dead. Everyone thinks he's dead. I'm pretty sure one of those ballistas went straight through his head. So I don't see how Rhaegal could be alive after that, which really sucks because I was hoping we wouldn't lose another dragon. And Jon and Dany aren't on equal footing anymore because now she's got a dragon and he doesn't. So that kind of sucks for Jon. But I am bummed out that Rhaegal went down. I'm pretty sure Rhaegal's dead this time because we saw a body this time. Yeah. Arya killing Cersei wouldn't be too far-fetched again, blah, blah, blah. Cult of death worshipping ninjas. Unless someone steals her kill, I don't see how she can be stopped if they can't see her coming. All right. I'm not saying she couldn't do it. I'm saying that story-wise, narrative-wise, it just doesn't make sense for Arya to do it. It makes sense for Jaime to do it. Because that's what his entire character arc has been building up to. They pulled that shit with the Night King. I mean, this is not a moment that Arya needs. She doesn't need to be the one to kill Cersei. Jaime needs to be the one to kill Cersei. Because if he doesn't, his arc is going to be incomplete. Okay. Yeah, Sansa. Oh, Sansa knows about her face. Does she? Does she? I don't recall there ever being a scene where she. Oh, damn! I'd have to go back and rewatch season 7 now, because I don't think Sansa ever found out about that. I don't know. Maybe my memory is failing me here, but I don't think they ever had a scene where she found out about that, unless I'm remembering wrong. Someone telling me that Cersei has more wildfire and that Dany will be blackmailed by having Drogon around lighting up the kingdom. More wildfire? I guess she could. I think I'm pretty. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's all gone when she blew up the sept. I mean, that was a pretty big explosion. It seemed to me like all the wildfire was gone. I don't know. Plus they already kind of used the wildfire. I mean, why go back to it now? I mean, I don't know. I think I think George R.R. Martin is more creative than that. I don't know about Benioff and Weiss. I'm not saying they couldn't do it. It just feels kind of derivative at this point. Let's see. Arya fights a girl with a stick, and now she can kill the Freys, Littlefinger, the Night King, and possibly Cersei next. Give me a break. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like Arya. This is not a kill that Arya needs. This is not her moment. It's Jaime's moment. Next episode preview sounded like Rhaegal, not Drogon. Just wondering also, because the way Euron was looking very surprised. This is true. Okay. All right. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that maybe Rhaegal survived somehow. He looked pretty dead to me, but who knows? Maybe we don't know how resilient the dragons are. I mean, the Night King took Viserion down with one strike, but these were just normal ballistas. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Rhaegal is injured but alive? Who knows? I would really like it if Rhaegal is still alive somehow. Let's see. Who is next in line for the throne? Is Jon, Dany, Greyjoy, or Cersei all done? Who is next in line for the throne if Jon, Dany, the Greyjoys, and Cersei all die? Next in line for the throne. Well, if all those people are dead, assuming Cersei died before she gave birth, and the baby died, I think next in line for the throne would be Jaime, actually. Because Jaime is older than Tyrion. So yeah, I think the line of succession would fall to Jaime. So I think he would be king at that point. Now, if the Lannisters are even recognized as like the rightful ruling family, and I'm not sure they even are at this point, but assuming that, Jaime would be next in line. Ballista went through the neck. Okay. I don't know. I'd have to watch it to be sure. I'm pretty sure it went through his head, but there was a hell of a lot of blood either way. The political talent of Sansa and Bran and Arya's superpowers, I think House Stark is the most powerful house left in Westeros? Eh. I think the Lannisters have a bigger army, but but you're not wrong. Sansa knows how to play the political game. Bran has the repository of all the knowledge of Westeros in his brain. Arya is the master shape-shifting assassin, and the Northmen all follow Jon. I think the only difference maker is that the Lannisters have more money and more of an army. But yeah, otherwise you're not wrong. The Red Priest that brought back the dude with the patch earlier seemed. The Red Priests that brought back the dude with the eye patch earlier seasons are still alive. No. Thoros is dead. He died last season. Melisandre died last episode. I'm sure there are other Red Priests out there, but those two are very much dead. Gendry, he's a Baratheon, so he would be next in line if they all die. Well, I think. Well, he is legitimized now by Dany. Except, well, the Baratheons are kind of. I think we've kind of done away with them. Of that being like the rightful, the six. I can't even fucking talk right now. I think we've kind of done away with the Baratheons being the ruling family. Like it was the Targaryens, then it was the Baratheons, now it's the Lannisters. So I think the line of succession is what it is at any given time, I guess. It's like whatever family is sitting on the Iron Throne, the line of succession goes through them. So right now it goes through the Lannisters. So if all those people die, it would be it would be Jaime as the king. I don't know what the hell would have to happen for the line of succession to go back to the Baratheons. But if somehow, some way it did, I guess that would make Gendry the king. I don't know how the hell you get from A to B, but you'd have to do a whole lot of storyline gymnastics for that to happen. Sansa had a talk with Littlefinger about Arya's faces and the God of Death. Did she? Oh, I guess you got me on that one. I don't remember that. Okay, I mean, it has been like, what, a year and a half, 2 years since season 7? I'd have to watch it again to refresh myself. I haven't watched it since it aired. All right, good on you for pointing that out. Let's see. They mentioned that Dorne and a new prince. Would Dorne have an army come help? Oh yeah. They also have the Dornish. Of course, it might take the Dornish a while to get there. Of course, based on last season, we know that these people can traverse the entire continent and very quickly when they want to, when the story demands it. I think Euron looks surprised because he finds out the baby is actually Jaime's. No, I don't think so. I think, unless that was very deceptive editing, he was looking up at the clouds and feeling surprised about what was up there. That was a battle sequence. That didn't have anything to do with the baby. If all the major players die, I think Sansa or maybe Gendry would most likely rule next. Okay. I'm not sure how you get there. I don't think Sansa would be too bad. Would do too badly as the queen. I think you could do a lot worse at this point. Gendry, I don't know how the hell you get there again, but whatever floats your boat. Euron was on a boat when he made that face, and he was looking at yeah. I feel like Jaime would be the best candidate to kill Cersei. It seemed that he wasn't leaving because he wanted to help her when he left, but because he's tired of this whole horrible cycle and he wants to break it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Not saying he will, again, not saying he won't be conflicted about it, but I think he needs to break himself. He's been trapped in a cycle for a long time. And the only way to get himself out of it is, as Danny says, he needs to break the wheel. And he's got to kill Cersei to do it. Now, problem with that is she's carrying his child currently. So if he kills Cersei, he kills his child. Now, I don't know how far along Cersei is. Apparently, she's not far enough along for it to be obvious that it's not Euron's kid because he thinks it is. He thinks it is. So, I mean, she can't be showing that much, if at all. So it's gonna be, if Cersei does live long enough to give birth, I mean, it's gonna be a while. And Jaime's probably gonna reach her before she gives birth. So I don't see any way that kid is gonna survive. And if he does kill her, he's going to be killing his unborn child, and that's not going to be good for his mental health. Any chance that Dario returns for Marine with reinforcements in the end? Anything's that would be I wouldn't say no to that. That would be a cool last minute twist, but we haven't seen him in a while, so. I don't know. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind at some point, but maybe that's what they're going for. Let's see. I think Euron looked surprised because he was about to be roasted. Yeah, maybe. Why are colors washed out of movies nowadays? Oh, getting off topic. Why are colors washed out of movies nowadays? Might as well go back to shooting in black and white. Damn color lens filters. I don't know. It's just an aesthetic thing. Some movies look, sometimes it makes sense. You just want to do different things with the color palette. Some movies look better when they're all saturated. With modern filmmaking techniques, you can make movies look however the hell you want them to. I don't know, like Schindler's List was all in black and white, except for like one thing where you saw like the color red on something. I don't know. I haven't seen a movie in forever, but it's just aesthetic choices. People get to be artistic in any number of ways now with movies. Yeah, I don't think Gendry would be a candidate because Robert was known as the usurper. Yeah, exactly. Cersei married Robert Baratheon, so isn't she a Baratheon? All her kids were, then Gendry would still be the legit heir. I think technically she was, but I think she kind of disavowed that. Because remember, when Cersei took the Iron Throne, she was called Cersei Lannister, not Baratheon. So she kind of, I guess, now that her being the queen, she could kind of posthumously annul her marriage to Robert, I guess. I don't know how that works, but that seems to be what they were going for. Like, Cersei doesn't acknowledge herself as a Baratheon. She's a Lannister. I don't think Gendry's a legit heir to anything. What if Jon and Dany beat Cersei, but Drogon dies, and Dany realizes that people don't want her to rule, so she goes back to Dragon's Bay? It's possible, but again, I don't think she would go that easily. I don't know. Okay. It feels wrong. Arya kissing and being so supportive. I thought she was just curious. Seems forced because she looks feminine. All right. I mean, I don't know how much of this is because we just kind of all feel like Arya's our little sister, and also because Maisie Williams still looks like she's 12. Arya being sexualized still feels really strange to me too. And maybe I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to, because again, like I think it's strange to her too. I mean, she wanted to know what sex feels like, but ultimately, it's not what she. That's not her. I mean, she said that. Who bought your old crappy apartment? The guy from Florida seems to be true. Yeah, it was the guy from Florida. Yeah. He saw the ad. He was moving back up here. He saw the ad and he called me up and he wanted to take it at that point without even seeing it first. And he did eventually have to come up here and look at the place and talk to the landlord, but he needed a place to live. He wanted to be in the area because his son lives here. And luckily for me, there aren't a lot of places to rent in that area. So yeah, I was lucky because no one else was no one else got through the background check except for one couple who did, and then just mysteriously backed out right when landlord was ready to give it to him. So it, a few more people responded to the Facebook ad, but again, I mean, he was, that background check is just weeding out most people. So very few people made the cut. So I was really lucky that the guy from Florida wanted the place, because it seemed like I was running out of options. I'm thinking Jaime kills himself after killing Cersei because he won't be able to live with the guilt of killing his unborn child. That would be a fucking dark ending. Would they go that dark? I don't know. I'm trying to think if that makes sense for his character, because I don't know, that baby, that does complicate things a lot. Because he needs to kill Cersei to complete his character arc, but what happens to the baby at that point? Does he need to kill her that much in order to? The only way I could see them getting around this is if they defeat Cersei's army, take her prisoner, let her live long enough to come to term, deliver the baby, and then Jaime is the one who executes her afterward. I don't see that. I don't see it being that easy. So I mean, who knows? I mean, you could very well be right. But that baby is a big fucking complication. Cersei is not supposed to have another kid, according to Maggie the Frog. Yeah. I'm trying to remember, because I know in the flashback on the show when they showed the Maggie the Frog prophecy, they omitted parts of it that were in the book. I'm trying to remember which parts of it they showed us. Because I know in the book it was the prophecy was that Cersei was going to marry a king, and she was going to outlive all her children, and she was going to be strangled to death by her younger brother. I guess it was going to be 3 kids. 3 kids. Did they mention in the show? Did they say specifically that she was going to have 3 children? Because remember, early on in season 1, Cersei told Catelyn that she actually did have a baby with Robert, that did not survive. So that would, so I mean, technically Cersei has had 4 kids. Joffrey, Myrcella, Tommen, and then that kid that she had with Robert. Now she could have been lying about that. I guess, but we don't know that. We don't know if she was. Can you list the 4 Avengers movies from best to worst? Best to worst, huh? Okay. Best to worst. Wow. I guess I would say I'm going to say Endgame is number 1. Number 2, Infinity War. Number 3, the Avengers, the first one, and number 4, Age of Ultron. I mean, they were all great. I think structurally, Age of Ultron had a few problems, and there were obviously some deleted scenes that kind of detracted from it. Yeah. She was told by Maggie the Frog that she would not die before seeing all of her 3 children dead. So at least that holds. Okay. Was that in the books or the show? I don't know. I don't remember. Cool to see Bronn again, but he kind of sucks that he won't be doing much this season. He deserves his damn castle, though. Yes, goddammit. I hope he does end up with Highgarden. What about the dream Dany had about the Iron Throne filled with ash and everything destroyed? Do you think that would come true? Will Dany have Drogon burn the whole thing down with Cersei in it? I thought it was snow, not ash. And I always assumed that the snow symbolized the White Walkers. I guess it's possible that the snow could symbolize Jon Snow. But hey, dreams are weird. Sometimes they don't mean anything. Will Dany have Drogon burn the whole thing down with Cersei in it? Good question. Because the way this is playing out, I mean, she won't be able to take Cersei. Right now, she won't be able to take Cersei down without killing a whole lot of innocent people. And does she want to take Cersei down that much? We don't know. But if she does, she could very well prove that she could prove to Jon and to Varys and to Tyrion and to a lot of other people that maybe this is not the right person that we want ruling us after all. Because once she's pushed to her breaking point, she might do stuff that would prove that maybe she is her father's daughter after all, deep down. We don't know yet, but she does have that in her. I forgot about Maggie. She said that a younger queen will take her place. Now, unless Jon suffers a very unfortunate injury, his chances look pretty bleak. Yeah, well, that prophecy is very unspecific, though. I mean, the younger queen to take her place, that could technically have been referring to Marjorie. I mean, there could have been a lot of double meanings. We just don't know. Are you pumped for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week? Will you be live streaming thoughts again? I'm happy S.H.I.E.L.D. is back. Live streaming thoughts again for S.H.I.E.L.D. I wasn't planning on it. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with S.H.I.E.L.D. I always kind of thought that S.H.I.E.L.D. should have ended after 5 seasons. Not on the cliffhanger that they ended on, obviously. Wrap things up, and put a period at the end of it. But it just felt to me like season 5 was the natural endpoint of the series. That's all the long-term story arcs were wrapping up, and Coulson was dying, and it felt like a nice way to bookend the show. How it begins with him coming back and it ends with him dying for realsies. And now, then they magically get renewed for 2 more seasons, and now Clark Gregg is back as the villain, playing a different character and whatnot. I don't know. I mean, well, season 5, it kind of felt like things were winding down. I mean, they obviously didn't have as much money to work with, so they were trying to do it more with less. And there wasn't as much action. There was less action and more conversations in dark hallways and stuff like that. And it felt like, well, I don't want to see the show go on for too long. I don't want it to be one of those shows that holds on for that tries to go longer than its natural endpoint. And I'm sure season 6 and 7 will be good. It just remains to be seen whether or not I'll feel like, well, did we really need these? I think we could have put a nice period on it and ended it in a good way with 5 seasons. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I have faith in them to pull off something interesting, and it looks like they've really been working on the production values. So I think it'll be an improvement over season 5. Not that season 5 was bad. This is, like I said, they didn't have as much money to work with, but it looks like they've kind of been working on the best ways to spend those dollars. Let's see. Still support a marriage between Jon and Dany if Cersei doesn't kill one or both of them. Yeah, I know, right? It still seems like that's the easiest way to resolve all of this. Why, if Jon and Dany get hitched, they could just rule the 7 kingdoms together as king and queen. Why is that not an option on the table? Like, I mean, just make another fucking throne so you'll have 2 of them. I mean, why is that? Why does it only have to be like 1 king or queen to rule them all? Why can't it just be 2 of them? I'm not sure why this has to be so complicated. In her place, the first thing I would have done after landing on the shores of Westeros would have been a complete annihilation of King's Landing. Okay, but that's kind of hard to do that without murdering a whole lot of innocent people, and people probably aren't going to follow you after that. What if Arya kills the Mountain to get to Cersei, and then has to fight the Hound? Oh, come on. Well, we're just giving Arya all the major kills now. I mean, she's had a bunch already, and she can't kill the Mountain. That's the Hound's whole reason for existing at this point. I mean, that's been the Hound's moment since before the series began. I mean, since he was a little kid and the Hound burned his face in the fire. Ever since that moment, this has been the Hound's kill. You can't give that one to Arya. It makes no sense for her to do that one. I mean, she can be there, she can be involved, but ultimately, Sandor has to be the one to do it. Otherwise, it's going to make no fucking sense. Before I go, I did something cool with S.H.I.E.L.D. last week. I proposed to my girlfriend of 6 years, and I did it by making a mock AOS post-credit scene at the theater. Search Marriage Proposal Avengers. Really? Is that on YouTube? A second. Avengers Wedding Proposal. Is that yours? That's the first one that came up. Well, if that's yours, it's like 6 minutes long. 7 minutes long. All right, I'll watch that later if that's yours. But that's really cool if that's yours. Unrelated question, but do you think moving to the CW helped Supergirl or made it worse? I personally don't see much of a difference. Well, I'm still on season 1. I think moving to the CW obviously kept the show going because they wouldn't need to do as well in the ratings to stay alive on the CW. Um, I can't imagine it helped them creatively because have you seen the other shows on the CW? Yeah, quality is not what they're always concerned with. They're very much CW is very much a style over substance type of network. You know, there are various exceptions. There are exceptions to that, but yeah, they know the audience they're playing to, and it's not people who appreciate quality writing and quality storytelling. And plus, I mean, it's always been a very identity politic driven show. And I say that only having watched, still having only watched like halfway through season 1. You know, as I understand it, it hasn't gotten much better. That's what people tell me. So if anything, I think moving to the CW probably hurt it creatively. But again, I haven't watched that far. I got to get back to that. Why didn't Dany fire on the fleet after seeing her dragon go down? All she did was yell at them and then just dodge spears. She could have toasted every last one of them. Well, I mean, she had to get within range. I mean, she could have roasted them with dragon's fire, but she's got to, she's dodging the ballistas, and she's got to get close enough for Drogon to be able to hit them. I'm not sure how much range that dragon's breath has. Can't imagine it's that. Can't imagine the range is that good. She's probably got to get kind of close, maybe within like 20 yards. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Well, an Endgame after credit on YouTube. You'll see my proposal. Also, want to thank you for getting me into S.H.I.E.L.D. to begin with. Without your reviews of that show, I don't do that proposal that way. Oh, very cool. Oh, you're welcome. Let's see. Switch marriage proposal, Avengers Endgame after credits on YouTube. Okay, I see Avengers wedding proposal in parentheses best proposal ever. There's also viral wedding proposal, Avengers Endgame screening. Avengers Endgame wedding proposal. Okay, there's a bunch of these. Marriage proposal after the Avengers Endgame movie and credits with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. by Jacob Walton. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. All right, I'll watch that after we're done here. That's pretty cool. I'm glad I'm glad those reviews had an effect on you. You're welcome, and congratulations. Also, that's very cool. Let's see. All right. I need a shower, so let's wrap this thing up. Maybe she couldn't get close enough safely. Didn't want to lose Drogon too. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like she had to get within range, but she couldn't do it because there's just too many ballistas shooting at her. Let's see. And more questions about the getting in range. Might have a shock and awe would have been her best choice. Okay, but it's the S.H.I.E.L.D. version. Jacob Walton. Yeah, all right. Okay, I will watch that when I get a chance. That's congratulations. That's very cool. And I think we can end it there. It's after midnight, so I gotta hit the showers and then get ready for bed on my cold floor in my sleeping bag because I gotta get up early. And I guess it's oh god, is it time to do another Supergirl video? It might be. But yeah, I'm mostly I'm kind of sort of settled into my apartment now, so I got to get back to making videos now because I my output really slowed down in recent weeks because I was just so frustrated and so depressed about the living situation. I was just trying to get that resolved, and if things weren't working out, I couldn't get my head straight for a while because I just had to get out of that place. It was just all I could think about. But now I'm kind of situated here. It's finally resolved, so it's time for me to get back to making videos. And it has been a little while since the last Supergirl video, so I think that might be what I do next. I got to start working on that one. So God help me. I guess I'm gonna die. It looks like I'm about to dive back into the Berlanti verse. Oh boy. So yeah, do I have anything to do everything else to do tomorrow? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But thanks for joining me tonight. Congratulations to Jacob Walton on getting engaged. I'm glad I was. I'm happy I was able to play a small role in how you chose to do that. That's pretty cool, actually. But thanks everybody for showing up, and tune in next time. Next week for season 8, episode 5. Wow, there's only 2 episodes left, I think. Holy shit, how are they going to resolve all this? I don't know. But are they going to stick the landing, or are they going to shit the bed? I don't know yet. Are the White Walkers really gone? Is the threat of the army of the dead still out there? Or is there another White who made the Night King, or is there another White Walker still out there? I don't know yet, but I think it's weird that Tormund is just going back to the Castle Black and have that be the end of it. I think that's very suspicious to me. I think there's something else there. But you know what? We'll find out. We'll find out next week, and I will talk to you guys then. I'll be back then, and we can talk about it again, and we can hash all this out. Until then, have a good night, and I will talk to you guys later. See you then.